Okay, some things. Gonna share. I hope this works out. I hope it works out, man. I hope it works out. Okay, when okay, gonna send it to some people before I start. Trembles always. Ink operation. My server. Don't need that open. Should probably have like a waiting screen, like waiting, getting ready. Okay. Whew. Hopefully everything sounds good. I have no idea what I'm doing on the sound department, but I guess I should. Hello, my name is Sidbeast, and you can call me B, and welcome back to, I guess, another Otome gameplay. I usually do Winter's Wish in the rotation, like it's supposed to, even if Tempest, Winter's Wish, Doki Doki Literature Club, but I finished Doki Doki Literature Club. This can be replaced by Class of 09, but Hakuoki came out today. I cannot not play Hakuoki. This game, it's Hakuoki. I have a lot. It's like the GOAT. It's like one of the classic otames. And it was one of my, well, not kind of like playing Fire Emblem. I don't know if those count because, you can play as a female character, romance male character. It kind of reminds me of otome, maybe. I should turn off the vibration on my phone for the sound. My phone has been stupid lately because it needs a new charger. It doesn't want to work. Aww. But okay, back to this Hakuoki. My absolute beloved. It was the first like otome visual novel ever played. I mean, I played some I don't know if Harvest Moon counts or Fire Emblem. I get it wasn't in the visual novel database. Well, it's for visual novels, of course, but I would say those games are kind of like otome adjacent because you can play a female character or romance male characters. But this was my true introduction into this genre. Like, I'm going to go into some lore. My dad, for Christmas one year, I asked for a PlayStation because at the time I really wanted to play more of the Kingdom Hearts games, and at the time they weren't out. They weren't all out on. They weren't all out on Xbox because we had Xbox, and I was like, can I please have a PlayStation so I can have the Kingdom Hearts games for Christmas? He was like, maybe he'll think about it. But my sister, she wanted to play Minecraft on the Xbox One, so we ended up getting that anyway. But he gave me this neat little, totally legal device. an emulator thing. It's like, it flips open like a DS, but it's meant to play like PS Vita games and stuff like that. Totally getting by totally legal means and stuff, but going through, I was like, I keep on coming across Hakuoki, and I was like, no, I'm not into that cringe stuff. And stuff like that. It was like I just brush it off. I was like, I don't even want to try it. But one day, curiosity got the best of me. I was like, I need more things to play on this. It's like, might as well try it. And I did. And I was smitten ever since. At first, I was embarrassed to admit that I liked it in Tome, because like, it had Sweet Views by Your Side on it too, and it was like I was playing with showing it to my friends, and most of my friends are guys, so I was like, look at this stuff, it's so lame. So look at this game's like a Danganronpa ripoff. Not Hakuoki, Sweet Views by Your Side, but I was too embarrassed to admit that I was obsessed. I love them so much. Very, very much. And now I have it here. On Switch. I ended up getting a PS Vita because it has like Hakuoki, 7 Scarlet. It has, what's it called? Period Cube. It has a lot of them. But it's on Switch now. It makes me so happy. I get to re-experience it once again. Okay, I've been talking about the spiel. If you haven't gotten anything from it, it's like I love Hakuoki. I had 100%ed it on the emulator thing. Totally legal emulator. Yeah. But let's go, baby. I doubt anyone would join, but I hope my sound sounds well. If it doesn't, I hope someone would tell me. This is a work of fiction. Yes! Oh my god! The emergency alert system. I have a NOAA weather radio right over here. It will scream. In my bubble. I might be autistic. Okay. Oh no, he's got the intro! The sound. I need to turn it up a little. Oh my god. It's so the song. It's nostalgic. It's kind of nostalgic. What's the oh my god, I'm sorry. I'm kind of fangirly. Don't die on me. Oof. Damn. Ah shit, don't really let me go into different setups. One day I'll like a better computer and stuff, but for now, this is fine for what I want to do. Chronicles of Wind and Blossom. This game is freaking long, by the way. I'm so happy. I'm so happy, man. Ah! Oh, it's playing it again. I don't know if I should let that play now, or it'll be like others where you would do like the prologue and there goes the intro and stuff. I think we're doing Hijikata first. But I don't remember. It has a lot of routes. Yep, going to Hijikata. Oops, sorry, my character's going crazy. Chizuru! We're gonna change her name. I love you, Chizuru. I was asking some friends what suggestions to have, because, you know, I usually like to do something a little silly. A little silly. Billy. Billy Yukimura. This is a work of fiction! What? Hakuoki Kyoto wins. Yuri, let's go! Let's fucking go! Okay, we speeding you up. Come on. You're not gonna... Oh, that's weird. You have to press your side button. Settings. I like it fast as fuck, boy. Romance on or off? Would you like your otome with or without romance? I know it's supposed to be like the indicator, but it's just funny. It's called romance on or off. So this is Kyoto. I couldn't help but let out a sigh of amazement. Even simple hellos between people passing in the stroll, I forgot to do something else. Do do do. There goes my phone. There she goes. She fell right in the floor. Voices. Cause I like to be hard on myself. And it's just kind of fun. It's just fun for me to do silly, stupid voices. Even simple hellos between people passing in the street seemed warm and friendly. They nodded and smiled to one another, as if family and not strangers about on errands. Still, there was something about the city that felt strangely cold. Almost as though there was a great invisible wall, shutting out anyone wandering in from the country. Really, I'm not sure I belong here. No, that's all in my head. I had walked quite some distance to reach Kyoto, and both my mind and body were exhausted. Even so, that was no reason to stand still and feel sorry for myself. Excuse me. I mustered up my courage and called out to a passerby. I'm sorry. I seem to be a bit lost. Could you... What should I do now? I was lost again, but in a different sort of way. I sighed and looked up at the darkening sky. The sun was beginning to set. The people weren't unkind, and they'd given me the directions I needed, but I didn't expect him to be absent. Learning from the person I'd hoped to visit was away left me at a loss for what to do. Besides, father, Kodo Yukimura, the protagonist's father, he's been missing since shortly after his arrival in Kyoto. I've seen on Twitter, I think especially in Halloween. Some people do edits of Kodo's face on different Otome characters and stuff called Kodo-ween. I don't know. I think it's funny. Besides father, the only person in the city who just finding a comfortable position. Yeah. Besides father, the only person in the city who I could rely on was Dr. Matsumoto. Oh. Right. Oh, left. Ryojun Matsumoto, a respected doctor working for the Tokugawa shogunate. Dr. Matsumoto was a doctor serving the shogun. Shogun, a military government run by samurai, here refers to the Tokugawa shogunate. I had never met him myself, but my father put a great deal of trust in him. He had told me that if I ran into any trouble in his absence, I was to contact Dr. Matsumoto. Unfortunately, it seemed like Dr. Matsumoto was out on business and would not return for some time. Was I too hasty? Perhaps I should have waited. It was indeed rude to visit without warning, which is why I had sent a letter prior to my arrival. But it seems he had left before it came to him. Perhaps I should have waited for a reply before leaving Edo, but I couldn't wait any longer. Barely. Protagonist. The main character of this story, she travels to Kyoto in search of her father, and she consequently finds herself involved with the Shinsengumi. Oh my god, spoilers. Barely. Is something wrong, father? He paused for a moment and looked at me. Aye, it seems I must depart for Kyoto. Is it for business again? He'd been leaving the house more and more frequently, sometimes for days at a time. How long will you be gone? I'm afraid I can't say. I don't know what voice to do. I bet I'll be saying that a lot. I'm afraid I can't say. A month, perhaps, maybe 2. Oh. There was no hiding my disappointment. Nevertheless, I wasn't a child anymore. I couldn't beg him not to go. Yet, yes, I'd be lonely, but I was much more worried for him. Please, father, be careful. They say Kyoto is dangerous. He only smiled and nodded. It will be all right. I will be sure to send you letters often, so that you will have no need to worry. Okay, you promise? Father kept his promise. A new letter arrived so often I scarcely had the time to respond before another would arrive. He told me that he worried about me being home all by myself. Then the letters stopped. A whole month passed with no word. Father. They said Kyoto was full of Ronin. It wasn't safe. Ronin, a samurai that left their master and doesn't receive any stipend. They're also known as lordless samurai. Usually a samurai would be paid by the house that employed them. House refers to the domain or clan that a samurai serves. It can also be used after a fashion to refer to the specific person a samurai serves. However, Roinin, who reported to no house, would often rob people in order to make ends meet. They were nothing more than violent criminals, hiding behind the image of the samurai. Such was the state of the city of Kyoto, the city of Roinin. Was my father safe? My mind concocted horrible possibilities, and I often found myself more and more depressed. First, I need a place to stay. Lost in thought, I didn't notice nightfall descend. If I was honest with myself, I hadn't the faintest idea of how long searching for my father would take. I had brought a sum of money with me, enough to last me a month if used wisely. Ideally, I would find my father in that time, or Dr. Matsumoto would return. In the worst case scenario, I would have to return home without seeing either of them. Well, at any rate, I should try to be as frugal as possible. I lengthened my stride and set off. Fortunately for me, men's clothing assisted with keeping a quicker pace than women's. Traveling alone as a woman was dangerous in more ways than one, so I decided to dress up as a man. My disguise proved successful, and I'd safely made it all the way to Kyoto. But my safe travels might have led me to let down my guard. Kyoto was not a safe place to be. I should have remembered that. I didn't realize how real the danger was, and somehow came to think it didn't apply to me. Hey, kid. Hey, kids. Oh no. Oh no. Where is output? Please don't crash. Hey, kid. I was about to discover otherwise. I spun around. In the streets in front of me were 3 Roinin. Oh no, they're eyeless, like hentai protagonist. Can I help you? Did my best to keep my voice calm, reaching slowly for my kodachi. Kodachi, originally a short katana, by the end of the Edo period, it referred to a large wakizashi. It was usually worn as half of a pair with a larger sword, such as a katana. Now that's a katana. My father had encouraged me to take sword lessons. I kept with them, and I did rather well. I was confident enough in defending myself. However, perhaps this overconfidence had invited the situation at hand. I let my guard down. Silently cursing myself, I assessed the situation. It would be difficult to take on 3 at once. Pretty nice blade you got there, kid. Only then did I realize they were far more interested in my kodachi than they were in me. Looks like a bit much for a pup like you, right? Give it here, okay? We'll put it to good use. This kodachi was a family heirloom spanning generations. It was very precious to me. There was no way I could give it to the Roinin, though I had a feeling they wouldn't listen. In such a situation, the best decision was to retreat. Run, girl! I turned and ran as fast as I could. Hey, get back here, you little bastard! Oh, fuck me. They're still after me! I felt like I'd been running for quite a while, but I could still hear the Roinin cursing loudly. I ducked in a narrow alley. After checking that they hadn't caught up yet, I crept further back into the alley. There were a few wooden boards propped up against the house. I crouched down and hid behind them. With some luck, this would allow me to escape this mess. Huh? I listened carefully and then tilted my head in confusion. I expected to hear the Roinin yelling to each other, looking for me, but as seconds turned into minutes, I heard nothing. Suddenly... What? Staying silent and hidden should have been the best course of action. However... Damn you! What is this? Why won't you die? Damn it, we gotta get out of here! Fear began to set in. There was something dangerous out there, something lethal. The thought of what it could possibly be made the fear mount and mount within me. Even so, I could feel an itch of curiosity. I wanted to know what was out there. I peeked around the corner of the road I'd just been on. Just then, I saw the gold reflection of moonlight upon the blade. A light blue jacket fluttering in the wind. Had this person saved me? My naive hope vanished in an instant. Help! I heard the Roinin beg for his life. The person in the blue jacket said nothing, just stepped forward, his sword raised. A high screeching laugh cut through the man's scream. The blade fell through the air like a butcher's cleaver. It hacked and slashed with no skill whatsoever. The scream turned wet, weakened, and disappeared. Oh, I had just witnessed a murder. My legs gave way. They crumpled to the ground. And yet, I couldn't look away. Yeah, this isn't traumatizing. The Roinin was already dead, but the man kept slicing, hacking, piercing, bringing the blade down again and again and again. Flesh tore, bones snapped, blood flowed like a river. This was pure madness, the raw, animalistic desire to tear apart a human life. This was no human being. This was something broken. My throat clenched tightly. A warm, dark smell brushed against my face. I slowly recognized the coppery tang of blood. An icy bolt of fear ran down my spine, crawling into my limbs and freezing me in place. I was terrified. What was I going to do? What could I do? You can take him. I believe in you. Fight! Fight! I have to run. I forced my jaw open and drew a ragged breath. This was the only chance I'd get. I had to. Still numb with fear, I stumbled against the stacked wood. It collapsed with a rough clatter. Hello. They're okay. It's like samurais, but vampires. Like, The creatures turned, coats drenched with blood, their eyes locked onto mine. Hideous grins split their inhumane faces, shaking with excitement at their new prey. I had to run. I didn't want to die. My legs refused to move. Their hideous, cackling laughter echoed. I was going to die. My body was frozen in terror. I couldn't even scream. And then, look at those effects. Huh? Right as their bloody swords were about to cut through me, a white flash of light slashed through them. I heard flesh blood splatter on the ground. I could feel it, warm and sticky, and warm and sticky and warm. Bile began to rise in my throat. Before disgust took hold, I heard a voice. What voice should I give him? I know who this is. I think I should give him the most high-pitched voice. Because he's supposed to... Oh, hello, Okra. I call him Okra. Because when I first played, I had a hard time remembering their names, and I remembered him because his name is Ukta. I remembered by calling him Okra. Oh, just such a shame. The words suggested disappointment, but the voice sounded happy. And here I was, planning to take care of them all on my own. Couldn't you pick another day to work so fast, Hajime? As he complained, the strange man smiled as if he were enjoying himself. Hajime Saito was he was the first route I ever went on. He was the first boy I thought, him, I would go on his route. And I did. What voice should I give you, Saito? I only fulfilled my duty, and like you, I take no pleasure in battle. Well, that's not very nice. You're making me sound like a battle-crazy monster. You don't even bother to deny it. The man called Hajime gave a sigh, as if he suffered his companion for far longer than he wanted, and looked at me. Maybe if you just sat back... Maybe if you just sat back... Maybe if you just sat back and let them kill the kid, you could have saved us some trouble. His tone was light, but it confirmed my fears. I was far from safe. Perhaps that decision is not ours to make. Huh? Then there was someone else who they reported to? As I took in their words, I suddenly remembered hearing about an organization whose men wore blue jackets. Ah! A shape slid into view. Hello, Hijikata. Look at me all dramatic. No, the art style is not my favorite. Oh. Hi. The moonlight shone off his smooth dark hair. He's the first guy on the route. Which I find it, I don't know. The route order, that's what it says for the first, but he's like the main guy. He's like the cover guy. Like in the anime, I think he's the guy. The moonlight shone off his smooth dark hair. Took my breath away. In that moment, the light on his hair made me think of the fleeting petals floating in the wind. Well, why is there petals floating in the wind? Almost as if the cherry tree were blooming out of season.
Luck is not your friend tonight.
I'm sorry, Hijikata.
Luck is not your friend tonight.
His voice was cold and quiet, like a plate of ice. White moonlight slit his window face. It reflected off the blade pointed at my chest. But it wasn't the sword making my breath catch, 'cause she's simping. It was his eyes. They were fierce and hard, but something behind them I could catch a glimpse of something else. There could be no doubt that he was prepared to kill me. Yet he seemed troubled. By the way his emotions wavered in his eyes, seemed altogether human, which is better than those other guys who kept on ripping to those Ronin's bodies.
Run, and I'll kill you.
I nodded. This wasn't a threat or a warning, simply a cold statement of fact. He stared at me for a moment, then grimaced and put his sword away, heaving a deep sigh. Huh? I let out a gasp, surprised at how easily he had sheathed his sword. And it quickly became apparent that I wasn't the only one.
Oh no, their lips don't move.
'Cause like, you know, when the voices are on, they go but they don't when they're silent, I guess. So I assume that seems Okita coded. What? Hijikata, are you sure about this? This kid saw everything. His eyes narrowed. The man called Hijikata frowned back at him.
Stop running your mouth over every little thing. If you keep that up, you know what we're gonna have to do.
It was clear enough that I'd seen something I shouldn't have. Something they wanted to keep hidden. The more they said, the more I would know, and it was clear none of us wanted such a thing. I really think it's going to be a pain in the neck if we let this kid go. The way he looked at me made me feel as if he read my mind.
So, we should just get rid of him? I'll decide what to do with this kid when we get back.
I agree. I agree with the commander. If we remain here, we are likely to be seen. When he looked down at the creature he killed, as if just remembering it existed. Then he looked down at the creature he killed, as if just remembering its existence. These have gone mad as well. It seems as there is no more use for them.
This is gonna be a headache to deal with.
He looked down at the corpse, his face emotionless. Then he suddenly shot a glare at the other two, frowning in clear irritation.
As for you two, drop the Hijikata and Commander act. Keep a low profile.
What? Come on, you can't be serious. Aren't our blues a bit of a giveaway? He was right. Even I had heard stories about a gang of cruel men in blue coats who cut people down in the streets. However, I knew I was better off not thinking about it too hard. Even so, in my mind swirled a pool of worries and thoughts, almost as if I was being drawn into their world before I'd even realized it. A world where there was nothing strange about conversing in the dead of night with corpses for company. What about the bodies? What about the bodies? There doesn't seem to be any physical abnormalities. Hijikata thought for a moment before he spoke.
Just take their blues. The watch can deal with the rest.
Understood. Another man cut down in the street, huh? Doing a great job, aren't we? The man snickered.
So long as we keep our mouths shut, I don't think anyone would know we were here.
He looked directly at me, and I got the distinct feeling his words weren't meant for his companions. It was common for people to be murdered in Kyoto. It was a dangerous city, after all. I knew that, of course. But still, this was frightening. People had died right in front of me. If death was such an easy thing in Kyoto, I thought, then the city itself must surely be mad. Hey, by the way, aren't you going to thank us for saving you? Huh? My eyes went wide when he suddenly addressed me. What do you mean, you saved me? He did have a point. Despite their threats, they had saved my life. I stood up as steadily as I could manage, brushed some dirt off my clothes, and bowed. Thank you very much. I apologize for not thanking you earlier. There was so much going on, I was a little confused. I glanced up at them tentatively. The man called Hajime was staring at me in something resembling shock. Hijikata looked as though he'd taken a bite of something sour. I know it sounds strange, but he told me I should say thanks. I looked up to see the third man shaking with laughter. Oh man, sorry. I did say that, didn't I? He was laughing so hard that he was forced to wipe a few tears from his eyes as he straightened up. Well, well, you're welcome. Welcome. I'm Soji Okita. You're a polite one, aren't you? Can't say I hate it. Thank you for helping me. Not sure what else to do, I bowed again. The one you should be thanking for saving you is Hajime Saito over there, and this bossy guy here is...
What the hell do you think you're doing, Okita?
Sir, I understand your concerns, but we must move. In response to Hijikata's stunned words, the man called Saito spoke with a quick urgency. Is it called Hajime, called Saito? Okita grabbed a hold of my wrist, smiled, and led me down the street. His grip was too tight to be friendly. There was no question about my situation. If I were to run, they would kill me, instantly. My life was in the hands of these strange men. I set my jar and stood up as straight as I could. My eyes met Saito's gaze as he looked up from the blood-stained jacket he was holding. It would be best if you prepared for the worst. I doubt this would end well for you. His words were like a dagger in my stomach. What would happen to me? Was I going to die? As we walked through the bleak Kyoto night, I felt terror crawl its way up my spine once again. The cause wasn't worry over what fate awaited me. I think I said that wrong. Oh. No, I was right. I had carried on a conversation with these men, standing next to warm corpses soaked in blood. Comfortable. That I had been able to do such a thing terrified me. Perhaps I had also begun to go insane. Wait, it's a different opening? Maybe I shouldn't have skipped the first one. I'm gonna skip it. It's a habit.
Wee.
Chapter 1. Was it morning? What happened to me? Right. I remember. All at once, the events of the previous night rushed back to me. This wasn't my room. My limbs were tightly bound, so all I could do was twist around like a worm on the futon. If I were to be allowed one wish, it would have been to wake up in the comfort of my own warm bed. If only this was just a bad dream. Those men from the night before had dragged me to their headquarters. The headquarters of the Shinsengumi. Shinsengumi, the military unit made up of Ronin, the purpose of which was to restore public order in Kyoto and counteract the local anti-shogunate forces. What will happen to me now? I sighed deeply. It was at that moment that the door slid open, and a kind-looking young man, no. Oops. Sorry. It was at that moment that the door slid open, and a kind-looking man stepped through. Ah, I see you finally awoken. This is no way to treat a guest of ours. Please wait, I'll loosen your ropes, alright? Huh? He smiled as he removed my ropes. My wrists, however, were left bound. And you are? Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Ginzaburo Inui. Ginzaburo Inui, captain of the Shinsengumi's 6th Division. He studies swordsmanship with Kondo, Hijikata, and Okita. He is sometimes referred to as Gin by his close friends. Yep. Thank you, Inui. Now, if you would follow me. They have been discussing what to do with you since morning. For now, they decided to hear what exactly you saw last night. I understand. I nodded curtly and struggled to stand, my body sore from being bound up all night. Inui treated me with something like courtesy, but it was clear that I was in a lesser position. He must have been able to guess my thoughts. However, because he smiled at me. Why are you doing that? Is he close out of YouTube? Not YouTube, I mean Discord. I know they seem scary, but they're good men. You don't need to worry. Even at home, I'd heard rumors about the vicious Shinsengumi. It was hard to imagine what the people in charge of such an organization. It was hard to imagine that the people in charge of such an organization were good men. The youngest, Todo, is about your age, or perhaps slightly older. Todo. And there's a pair named Nagura and Harada who are very lively, so you'll be fine. Nagakura and Harada. Despite Inui's reassurances, it was difficult for me to trust his words. Pardon the intrusion. I entered the room Inui led me to. Leaders of the Shinsengumi were waiting for me. Their eyes dug into me like knives. I froze. Why are you doing that? It's the worst. Shit. Quit. Good morning. You sleep well? I can't say it was a comfortable night. Is that so? Because when I went to have a look at you earlier, I poked and poked, but you wouldn't wake up. You were knocked out cold, all snug and cozy.
What?
He's teasing you. Soji didn't go anywhere near your room. I stared at Okura, captain of the Shinsengumi's 1st Division. His brilliant prowess as a swordsman was developed by training with Kondo and Hijikata. With his grin still plastered along his face, he glanced over at Saito. Hajime Saito, captain of the 3rd Division of the Shinsengumi. He wields his sword with his left hand and fights with incredible skill. I just want to see this kid squirm a little. Not very nice of you, Hajime, calling me out like that. You're the one who's not very nice, not Saito.
Hey, shut your mouths, all of you.
Hijikata's voice brooked no further insorbation. Yep. Okuda shrugged, smiling with narrowed eyes, and fell silent. Toshizo Hijikata, the commander of the Shinsengumi. He is Kondo's longtime friend and helped him form the Shinsengumi in Kyoto. Kondo calls him Toshi. So, Hijikata, this is the witness? The man who spoke looked particularly young, more like a boy than a man. Maybe this was Todo, the young Shinsengumi captain that Inui had described to me. I imagined the leaders of the Shinsengumi to be older, maybe even middle-aged men, but most of their faces still seems blessed with youth. In fact, one might even confuse them at first glance for a gang of young thugs.
He's skin and bones, isn't he? He's obviously still a kid.
Who's talking? Nagakura or Harada? You're calling him a kid, Heisuke. What he said to anybody else, I bet you two look like a sad pair of scrawny little brats. I don't know who's talking. Well, what he used to call them out being scrawny punks because I'm a mature adult and all. Mature adult? Anything that comes out of your mouth is basically nonsense, Shinpachi. Two nearby men replied to Todo with very mocking but light-hearted tones. I somewhat recalled Inui's description of the two lively members. His mention of them was brief, but seeing them in person, I could see what he meant. He said the short-haired one was Nagakura, and the other with longer hair was Harada. Shinpachi Nagakura, the captain of the Shinsengumi 2nd Division. He's a skilled swordsman. He is upbeat and cheerful, and he frequently helps raise the morale of the men in his command. Sanosuke Harada, captain of the Shinsengumi's 10th Division. He is very skilled with a spear, which is his weapon of choice. There is a scar on his stomach from an attempted suicide.
Lay off, you grumpy old bastards.
The hell I will, kid. You think you can get away with talking to us like that? Besides, I'm hardly mature enough to be called old. Shinpachi, maybe you, but not me. Sano, you son of a bitch, I thought we were friends.
Come on, Shin. Would an adult get so worked up over something like that?
They were throwing jokes back and forth, but their eyes stayed locked on me. So, Shinpachi. Rada. Still, the way they looked at me held something aside from curiosity, like a feeling of animosity. Despite their cheerful levity, they had not forgiven my presence among them. Suddenly, I wanted to very much go home. I wanted to leave this place and never return. My chest tightened and I hung on my head. I apologize for this frightening behavior. Please don't let the men unsettle you. Hey, Satan? Oh. His voice was calm and warm, and I felt myself relax, even if only a little bit.
Are you serious? You're the scariest out of all of us, Sanan. Sanan?
Keisuke Sanan, a colonel in the Shinsengumi. He acts primarily as their consultant to the chief of the Shinsengumi, Isami Kondo. The rest of the men nodded solemnly in agreement. Was this person truly that frightening? Oh, how crude. I can understand their feelings, but for our demon of a commander to say, Oh, how rude. I can understand their feelings, but for our demon of a commander to say so as well. It's up to me to hold the integrity of the Shinsengumi to our highest standards. I think I said that right. Weren't you the one who set such standards, Hijikata?
True, I did. But now isn't the time to be talking about this.
Hijikata and the man called Sanan exchanged faint smiles. You're lucky to have a friend like Sanan, Toshi. I don't know what voice to... There's so many characters. And there's only gonna be more. Kondo. You're so lucky to have a friend like Sanan, Toshi.
You're so lucky to have a friend like Sanan, Toshi.
There's nothing like him. You're so lucky to have a friend like Sanan, Toshi. I wish I had more variety in my voices. You're so lucky to have a friend like Sanan, Toshi. Ichikata and Sanan's exchange sounded somewhat tense to me, not exactly friendly. Still, the man who spoke had certainly sounded as though he thought they were friends. Oh, my apologies. I haven't introduced myself. I'm Isami Kondo, chief of the Shinsengumi. Isami Kondo, one of the founders of the Shinsengumi, an organization created to help keep the peace in Kyoto. He was originally from Edo. When you say chief, do you mean to say you are the most important man in the Shinsengumi? Well, I wouldn't call myself the most important. It's more accurate to say I represent everyone. Toshi over there is the commander, and Sanan is our colonel.
Kondo, why are you telling him all this?
Why do you think it's a bad idea? Well, it's probably better not to tell him more than he needs to know. It's probably better not to tell him more than he needs to know.
Why bother anyway? Why bother anyway? We don't owe him anything.
You all raise good points, but how can we talk without introducing ourselves? Hirata laughed at how flustered Kondo seemed and proceeded to smooth things over. True, we already brought him here. It's not like telling him our names would hurt us. Kondo had looked rather disappointed when Hijikata spoke, but he perked up at Hirata's words. Watching this exchange, it was easy to see that this man was well liked around here. He had a sort of charisma that simply drew you in, a man who was impossible to hate. Well, let's get back to the issue at hand. Can you give me a full report of last night?
Last night.
Last night we were on patrol when we encountered some wandering Ronin. They drew steel, so we fought. Some of our men subdued the Ronin, but in doing so, exposed their failure to this person. As he finished, Saito glanced at me.
I didn't see anything.
In my immediate denial, Hijikata continued to stare at me harshly. Saito remained expressionless, and the grin on Okita's face didn't change.
Hey, you sure you didn't see anything?
Yeah, I didn't see anything.
Really? Well, if that's true, then I don't see what the problem is.
Oh, hold on a minute. I thought Soji had said you helped out. Hold on a minute. I thought Soji said you helped out some of our men or something.
No, that's not true.
I glanced over at Okita, but his smile remained. Whatever he was thinking was a mystery to me. I was running away from the Ronin. Then some people with the Shinsengumi uniforms appeared. I was the one being rescued, if anything. Then that means you saw them slicing up this Ronin, right? I couldn't deny that, but staying silent was tantamount to agreeing. So in other words, he actually saw everything, start to finish. You got an honest heart? That's not really a bad thing, but... He trailed off. He seemed to be implying that my presence there was inconvenient for them, so they had no choice but to kill me. My voice shook, but I knew I had to say something. I won't tell anyone.
Since you were attacked by mere chance, it seems unlikely that you're an enemy of ours, but despite your good intentions, you could be taken for interrogating. Could you handle torture?
His voice was still warm, but his words were cold, and they hammered the reality of my situation. Sorry, I think it might... What was that? It's something Nicholas said that I've seen around Twitter. Sorry, I think showing you the torture chamber took it a little too soft. I don't know. I think showing you our torture chamber took it a little bit too far. I'm sorry. His voice was still warm, but his words were cold, and they hammered in the reality of my situation. Staying quiet is easy, but if you were captured, you will have no loyalty to us or our secrets. Yeah, I've been going to switch up him and throughout his voice. Yeah, we have no guarantee you will keep your mouth shut. It wouldn't be very smart to just let you go. Let's just kill him. You want to keep someone quiet? That's the only sure way. But... Don't be so cold, Soji. What do we gain by murdering a civilian? Oh, don't give me that look. I was just kidding. Perhaps it should have sounded like you were. Hehehe. After being rebuked by Saito, Okita gave a playful smile. But surely there must be something we can do. After all, we're talking about a child.
I have no wish to kill him either. If he were to carelessly speak, it would spell nothing but trouble.
Oopsie doopsie.
Well then, I would like to hear the commander's opinion. What do you say, Commander Hijikata?
Hijikata heaved a deep sigh.
Last night we killed some members who broke our code. The kid shouldn't have been involved at all.
I imagine that puts an end to the matter for you. For you? Oops.
Well, he probably saw something, but I doubt he really understands what it was.
Even so, this is serious. We gotta keep this under wraps. It would be a real pain if rumors break out that soldiers of the Shinsengumi had gone crazy for blood. Shinpachi's words made sense to everyone. Hijikata's face looked grim.
Hey, watch your mouth. All I said, we killed members who broke our code. Nothing more.
Well, it doesn't change the fact that the kid saw something. I think Soji has a point, but still, I'll do whatever Hijikata and Kondo tell me to do.
I think we ought to let him go. He doesn't know everything you know. That's why they went crazy for blood in the first place. Shut up!
Why they went crazy for blood? Couldn't help but wonder out loud, and the room shifted to an icy silence.
Kisuke, don't run your mouth! Oh, my bad.
Uh-oh. 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 Well, this is gonna make it even harder for us to simply let you go. A man should always be ready to face death. Make peace with yours.
But I have a Bob's in Virginia. I have Bob's in Virginia.
A man? Of course. They still believe me to be a boy. With everything else that had happened, I completely forgotten how I was dressed. True. Men should have a clean, honorable death. When I was young, I cut myself open too. Didn't really stick though, did it, Sano? Their jokes had a disturbing ring to them. Commander, since we can't seem to reach a consensus, may I send him back to his room? If he were to hear something he shouldn't have while here, then we'll have no choice but to kill him. He was right. If I remained with them, then I could easily hear something I wasn't supposed to. I didn't think he mentioned it for my sake, but rather as a possible concern for their group. I was so relieved when he brought it up.
Let's do that. Besides, there's something I want to look into.
I agree. There are too many careless... Oops.
I agree. There are too many careless men here.
Come on, Sanan. Why are you looking at me for? That ought to be pretty obvious. We're all guilty of being careless. Especially you, Kisuke.
Hey, back off! That was just a mistake, alright?
Hear Toto's voice rise as everyone turned to look at him. He looked at them for a bit and then turned to me and mumbled in a voice I could barely hear.
I'm sorry.
I couldn't exactly brush off his mistake, given that my life was at stake. But still, his apology was genuine, so I nodded curtly.
Alright, Saito. Take care of the kid.
Noted. Follow me. Alright. Annex have been unlocked. Yay! So we can look back on our glossary. After returning to my room, I spent some time reflecting upon my situation, my hands still bound. The rumors spoke of the Shinsengumi as vicious men, but they seem more human to me. We are not killers, but to protect our code, we must bring death. Or so I felt from their attitudes. If I stay here quietly, they will kill me. But I don't know if I can convince them to spare me. Just as I had no loyalty to them, they had no loyalty to me. Oh, but now that I think about it, they mention a man must always be ready to face death, so they must be mistaking me for one. Would it change how they saw me if I told them I was actually a girl? But this could just as easily backfire. It was possible they wouldn't care less about my gender. What should I do? I think the first one, it's a horrible choice, but it's the one we choose for Hijikata. Now I've been recording for an hour. So, I will do this. Maybe next time. I don't know. Maybe. Dang, no viewers. So sad. It happens. It's cool. I'm still debating. Should I or shouldn't I? Yeah, let's stop it here. I already saved it. I don't need to save it again. Yeah. I love Hakuoki. It's great. It's so nostalgic for me. It reminds me of, I think, 10th grade. Was it 10th grade? Or no, it was 11th. Yeah, 11th. 11th grade. All-state chorus. I was away from my family for once. And I played Hakuoki any chance I could get. But yeah. I'm definitely going to be playing more of this. I'm kind of want to add it, either just play this more, like focus on Hakuoki, or add it to rotation. So like do Winter's Wish next. So I would just add it to rotation, maybe.